Dolphins fans, I need your help because I'm trying to make this the largest Miami Dolphins YouTube account there is. And the best way to do that is to spread the word to the people that don't know. So help me out by sharing today's video. Select the Twitter to X icon after clicking the share button. Click post to Twitter or X, or text it to a friend, email, whatever you want to do, because I want to continue to grow this channel. So help me out. This is Dolphins Today by Chat Sports. I am your host, Nic Rohloff, and on today's show, we're talking cut candidates after Dolphins minicamp. The last full practice was on Wednesday after Mike McDaniel decided to do a walkthrough on Thursday, but I think it's a good time to revisit this topic as this team doesn't come together again until the end of July. The first cut candidate, and the one that always will feel the most likely in my eyes, is quarterback Mike White. He could be quarterback too, but there's also some solid cap savings the Dolphins could get if they end up releasing Mike White since it's post-June 1st. The number, pretty good. $3.5 million in cap savings. And you might say, that's not that much in savings. Well, here's the thing. You can use that to sign a Greg Van Roten at right guard who's still available, because that might be the exact contract he gets. And I think everyone would agree we would trade Mike White for Greg Van Roten right now just because of roster needs. Now, it will be a little bit of a tough decision for Chris Grier and this Dolphins front office and coaching staff because, well, after OTAs, Skylar Thompson looked like he was in the lead for QB2 behind Tua. Well, after minicamp, it might have flipped because White played pretty dang well, including a deep 60-yard touchdown on Wednesday's practice to Jalen Waddle since Tua was not practicing in 11-on-11s. I'm just going to continue to have him as a cut candidate, though, because that $3.5 million is just so enticing to free up because it will allow you to have the versatility to go sign a Greg Van Roten or allot that money towards an extension or whatever you want to say. The biggest question for Mike White, can he play well enough to stay on this roster, earn that QB2 position, and not get cut to save $3.5 million? Next on the list, wide receiver Braylon Sanders. And if you watched our winners and losers video from minicamp, you would know why he was probably going to be a cut candidate. He just did not perform well over the two practices on Tuesday and Wednesday. Cap savings aren't anything crazy, only $915,000. Nothing nuts there, not going to add anything to your cap space, but it's just unlikely that he's going to make the 53-man roster. So could you cut him now and have an open spot for a free agent, or just go with a more of a high upside type player? Because he really struggled during those two practices, had a pair of drops, and it's just not what you want to see because when you're looking at this wide receiver room that is just so dang crowded, like Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and OBJ are obviously on the team. Malik Washington and Braxton Berrios are very, very likely to be on the team, which leaves one spot open on the 53-man roster, and I think it would most likely go to Taj Washington, Eric Uzukama, River Craycraft. Braylon Sanders would have had to have an excellent offseason, OTAs, minicamp, training camp to make this 53-man roster. He's just currently on the outside looking in, man. So to me, you might just cut bait now and go towards another position if you have someone in mind, or want to, like I said, go with a guy who is a real upside, high ceiling, but low floor guy, because we know that Braylon Sanders is not going to make the team, and if he did, it's likely not even going to make an impact anyway. Make sure you do subscribe to the channel, though, because we will have every single update you need surrounding the Fins from now until eternity. Yes, you heard that correctly. Help us get to 57K subscribers, dropping videos on a daily basis. Julian Hill, the tight end, is the next cut candidate here on the Dolphins because I just don't think he performed that well at minicamp. Like Braylon Sanders, the savings would not be anything too crazy, just $915,000. But with other tight ends emerging on this roster and Hill having a little bit of a slow minicamp, I think it's kind of pointing into that direction. Didn't really hear much. Beat reporters were there on hand watching. No one really mentioned anything about Julian Hill standing out, doing anything wrong. And, well, at least he didn't get anything bad said about him, but didn't get anything good either. And then with some other dudes, like there's a sneaky guy here, Hayden Rucci, UDFA, tight end out of Wisconsin, who I think could really threaten this position group to be the third or fourth tight end or a fullback. with Julian Hill not performing that well, I think there is room open for other players in this tight end depth chart, especially with the name of Jody Fortson coming to the light. The former Kansas City Chief, who missed all of 2023 due to a shoulder injury, has been fantastic over the last 3 weeks for Miami. Minicamp, first week of OTAs, second week of OTAs. Fortson has been making plays, 4 career touchdowns, 150 career yards in 19 career games. He has been flashing, and I think there's a legit chance that he can be tight end 2 behind Jonnu Smith. And then this tight end room becomes a very intriguing storyline at training camp if that's the case, because you'll have Smith, you'll have Fortson. Who gets the tight end 3? Could it be Hill? Could it be Rucci? Is it going to be Durham Smythe? But either way, I think Julian Hill might be on the outside looking in, just like Braylon Sanders, because of how well Fortson has played. So that brings me to this question. Tight end 2, a little bit of a mystery right now for Miami. I think Jody Fortson's got the rise up to that point. Will Jody Fortson be the tight end 2 for the Dolphins come September? Type Y for yes or type N for no. Channing Tindall, the linebacker, is the 4th man here, and it's disappointing because the former top 105 pick, 3rd rounder out of Georgia, I thought needed to have a strong summer in order to make this roster. The cap number isn't crazy. You would get $1.1 million in savings, but it's another tough decision with Tindall because I think he actually did some nice things at the end of OTAs. He did a couple nice things during minicamp as well. I believe he actually made our winners list at the end of OTAs week 2 alongside Duke Riley. But the issue I have with keeping Tindall on this roster is that are you really keeping 5 inside linebackers? That is just highly unlikely. You have a good solid top 3 in Jordan Brooks, David Long, and then obviously Anthony Walker Jr. coming over from Cleveland. But who's going to be that 4th linebacker? I don't think you keep 5. So to me, it's Tindall versus Riley for the LB3 spot. And Riley's just more proven, and he's also been pretty solid during OTAs and minicamp. Like, Tindall would have to be, I think, heads and shoulders above Riley during these offseason and training camp practices to beat him out for the roster spot on the 53-man. Riley is just a good special teams player as well. I think Duke Riley, it's going to be hard to beat him out, which is why Tindall makes the cut candidate list, and that $1.1 million in savings could come into play for Chris Grier. One more cut candidate to get to, but make sure you get hooked up with this great t-shirt combo. $15 off chatsports.com/Dolphins combo. Get it for yourself. Get it for your dad or family member. It's Father's Day coming up in just about a week, so get it today if you're last-minute shopping, or for yourself. One more time, $15 off chatsports.com/Dolphins combo. Final cut candidate on today's show, Jeff Wilson, the running back. We've talked ad nauseum about Jeff Wilson being cut. The number on him would be $1.2 million in savings. But the reason to cut Jeff Wilson isn't because of the money. It's just such a crowded room. I don't know how Jeff Wilson is going to be able to make this Dolphins roster when you look at what they already have at running back. The dynamic duo of Raheem Mostert and Devon Achane from a year ago was terrific. It combined for 1,800 yards, combined for 26 touchdowns. That was just on the ground, not even in the receiving game. But then you add Jalen Wright in the 4th round out of Tennessee, who you traded a future 3rd-round pick to get. Like, you are going to use these 3. So to me, why would you keep Jeff Wilson on this team when he doesn't provide you a lot of special teams value? You can get $1.2 million in savings. Let the 3 guys on screen right now cook, and maybe you keep Chris Brooks or Salvon Ahmed as that 4th running back, but also special teamer. The not addition, but Alec Ingold being on this roster is also an impact here because not many teams carry fullbacks nowadays, so that takes up a roster spot that Jeff Wilson could have held, but probably will go to Ingold. So name a Miami Dolphins cut candidate. I gave you 5 names after minicamp. 5-week break until they come back together at the end of July for training camp, but name someone that the Dolphins could cut in between now and then. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel because if they do cut someone from this roster, we will have you covered with a video and news. So join the channel. I'm Nic Rohloff. I'll see you with another video tomorrow. Go Fins.